Hi, my name is Cayla, and I am a foster parent in central Pennsylvania. I started my foster care journey back probably around 2018. That is when I really shifted gears in my personal life to wanting to put down some roots in Pennsylvania. I had traveled a lot before then and moved around and kept coming back to home base. And my plan always was I was going to adopt someday. And I always, ever since I was a little girl, wanted to do an international adoption. And that was always kind of my plan. And as I decided to settle down a little bit in Pennsylvania, I really felt a calling to help now and do something now. And that is when God placed it in my heart to, why don't you foster and see where that takes you? So I really thought about it, prayed about it, did a lot of research on it, and came to the conclusion that based on my professional experience of working a lot with teens and older youth, and then the need in the community for teens, specifically and older youth, to have foster parent homes, that is really what made my decision to seek out helping older kids. I felt like I could help with those connections that they would need, the support that they would need going through such a turbulent time in life anyway. And then also, just with my lifestyle, I felt it would be best to have somebody who would have a certain amount of independence that maybe a younger child or toddler infant definitely would not have. I officially began fostering in fall of 2021. And at that time, I said yes to a placement of a 12-year-old boy and his 11-year-old sister. My foster son is now 13, and my foster daughter will be 12 in just a couple of months here. So their circumstances where they were kind of couch surfing and staying at shelters or hotels. They technically were homeless, I believe, for probably close to 2 or 3 years. They never officially had a place of their own in Pennsylvania. Originally, they are from Georgia, but they had that in PA for quite a few years. And at the time that they were placed with me, it was for their mother to deal with her addiction and go and get some help with rehab. And their father was and is still incarcerated. So when I first got them, it was their first time in foster care. It was also my first time being a foster mom. So we all were just kind of starting from scratch and trying to figure out what this looked like and how we could build a relationship and maybe even a family based on that. And I think right away I could just see that these kids were, they wanted so bad to be taken care of. Even through the anger, the outbursts, the sadness, they wanted to be taken care of. They liked the fact that I gave them an 8:30 bedtime on school nights. They would readily go to bed at that time, which as a young child myself, I would fight that. So, they liked the structure somewhat, not everything, but they certainly wanted to be taken care of. They wanted to hear bedtime stories at night. They wanted me to give them a hug and a kiss. They wanted to say prayers. And that to me was just something I actually wasn't really prepared for. I didn't realize how much love these kids needed until they were in my home, because they did love their mom so much and I could see that relationship, and they loved their dad and I could see that relationship, but they just needed to be loved every day and to know that they were going to be taken care of and to know that there's a routine and there's consistency, and I'm always going to give them boundaries, and I'm always going to call them out when they need to be called out on. So those are some of the things that we kind of had to figure out from the beginning. And it wasn't easy. There was a lot of outbursts, not just from the kids. Sometimes I had a really hard time too. And it was a new process for me as well. And one of the things that really helped me was just being able to have resources to reach out to, Catholic Charities being a huge one, and also finding other people in my community who have fostered or currently fostered who were able to kind of share some of their experiences and to say, hey, this is what you need to do. Let us help. Talking about having those resources and community is really what led me also to choose Catholic Charities. I actually was originally doing the foster parenting courses with a different organization. And as I progressed, I just felt like there might not be the support there or the questions answered when I needed them. So I actually had taken a pause from foster training at that point, and when I revisited things and decided to give Catholic Charities a try, I have yet to be disappointed. They have just been amazing through the training at the beginning to then walking me through every single possible placement that I would take and talking with me and through the different obstacles and the pros and the cons and everything. I just couldn't ask for more support and more clarity with them. And now that I've been a foster parent actively, they have just really guided me through every single step of the process. I've never felt like I've had to figure out a court date on my own or a problem on my own with one of the kids or a situation that's going on in our lives. They've gone just, I feel, above and beyond all of my expectations to really make sure that we're all taken care of, not just the kids. They really look out for me too and try to make things helpful, simplified, and just really are there for me in a way that I wasn't expecting with an agency. So with Catholic Charities, I definitely feel like my best interests are always there along with the children, and then we can work together to really make sure that the children are taken care of and have everything that they need. And as I wrap up, I just want to point out or maybe remind to all of us, whether you're a parent, a foster parent, or thinking about being a foster or adoptive parent, just that every little thing counts. Things that we don't see as being super important or even something that's on our radar, they matter. A perfect example for me is the first night that the kids came to me. I tried to plan and prepare everything as much as possible. And then I just got two kids on my doorstep with their caseworker. My foster son was in tears. He didn't want to let go of the caseworker. He was so upset. His sister was kind of curious, but trying to protect him and look out for him. And everything that I had planned and had thought, like, okay, let's make this really smooth for them, went out the window. And I felt their fear just as much as they did. So as we had gotten settled in that first night, I had my puppy, who's now a big puppy, had gone up to my foster son and had given him a couple quick licks on his face, and he cracked a smile. So I thought, okay, things might be okay after tonight. It's hard to imagine it. They're both really upset, but things just might work. And I just remember trying to get them settled in and, try to make it a great first night in a strange place, as hard as that or impossible as that might be. And I had fed my foster daughter. She was actually open to that. And I remember my foster son was like, not doing this, don't want to be here. And at some point in the evening, I must have just brought him something. And he to this day brings up the story that on his first night, he knew he was going to be okay because I brought him pizza rolls and orange slices. I don't really remember making that for him at all. And he consistently brings up that story as knowing he was going to be okay here. And he has requested that to be his final meal here when he goes back to live with his mom full time. So just remember that it is the littlest things that make all the difference. And when it feels like they're not paying attention or noticing, they certainly are. Thank you, everyone, for letting me share my story.